Hello everybody, welcome to Cherry on Top's second episode of Banana Split Discussion. As always, I'm your host Lime, and I'm once again joined by my two closest friends, Pomé and Mango.
Hey y'all, it's Pomé, the passionate pomegranate of Cherry on Top.
Hey, and it's Mango, or Mang if you want to keep it simple.
And finally, we have a trailer. It's been, around 3,000 years.
Yeah, this news cycle has just been very lacking around this time around.
Not only that, but it was enough to get us to upload out of schedule.
Well, we wanted to be on top of things for once, and that's definitely not a Cherry on Top pun.
Just think of it as a little sweet treat to make up for the lack of news lately.
Okay. Let's not get sidetracked though. How about we introduce a video question for us and our viewers?
Today's question is a very controversial one. Does the lack of news in comparison to Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon make you more excited or less for these games?
It makes me less excited because, if it wasn't for a certain thing happening that, I think some terminally online Pokemon stands will know, I would be like, where's the news? I'd be so mad about it. And so, the secrecy is not it.
For myself, I would say that I'm warmed. I'm not less excited, but I'm not excited either. I'm just very curious as to why they are hiding so much stuff from us. What is the reason?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
In comparison to previous games, I think it's made me less patient than before. At least we'd get monthly news. At least it was guaranteed then, but this news cycle is a month and a half, a week later, and it's not always monthly now. So
yeah, they've been very stingy with these games, but I guess in comparison to other video games, it's normal. Pokemon has always been the odd one out when it comes to news, because they've post so much stuff about upcoming games, but other games like Fire Emblem or Mario, they don't post as much news, I guess.
That's true. It's just because we're used to the old way of, the Pokemon news cycle, whatever, it's just very dry, It makes sense that they would update it to be the other games. I say less excited, but I'm still excited for these games. It's just aggravating, I guess.
I think it's probably because the games are coming out in 3 months, and we just had the first trailer less than 2 months ago.
Yeah, literally 2 months ago.
Yeah, the first confirmation, name drop, I think. The reveal.
That was longer. That was in
February. Okay. But and then that the wait between that and the first trailer was 4 months?
It doesn't matter.
March, April, May, June. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mango, time is not real, so it doesn't matter. It's been forever.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
It's just different, and especially because they've kind of advertised as an open world game, and there's going to be a lot in these games. To reveal so little is just very odd to me, I guess.
Absolutely. We can move on to the next topic, which is Paldea Region. I am not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but let's pretend I did. So, Paldea. We just recently found out the name of the region is Paldea in this trailer, and I'm okay, it's cool that we know what the name is, but why have you been keeping it a secret from us for so long? We've just been calling it Scarlet and Violet region for 4 months now. But it's exciting that now we have an official name for the region.
Yeah, and you have a summary prepared for us, Lime?
Yes. Your adventure takes place in the Paldea region, a land of vast open spaces dotted with lakes, towering peaks, wastelands, and perilous mountain ranges. All sorts of trainers will be adventuring and honing their skills with Pokemon battles. You can find lots of people and Pokemon living together in a variety of locations, ranging from a farming village with bountiful harvests to a port town with a bustling marketplace. There are also Pokemon living in treetops, rivers, and all sorts of other locations in the wilderness. And they're all just waiting to meet you.
Yes.
So how do you guys feel about Paldea region?
Like you, I was very weirded out why they took this long to reveal the region name. It makes
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's because it's important to the story or whatever. Why did it take this long? Unless they're just didn't want to reveal it just cause. I guess that is also a reason. I'll say the map is really big, and now that we've got an 8K, someone uploaded an 8K version of the map, it is so detailed. I could literally see all the buildings and different landmarks, whatever. And it makes it easier to figure out where the gyms are too. So it's just it feels like a very big region for sure.
Yeah, for sure. When I saw the map, I was absolutely shocked at how many details they have put on the map. It's so exciting to see such a big region, in comparison to Galar, who kind of felt smaller in comparison. And I'm super excited to explore the region and see what it has to offer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Paldea region this time around is what is it? It's more massive. It's more vast. I feel like there's more landmarks this time compared to Sword and Shield, who was half of the map was just the wild area, but this feels like there's smaller cities located in the area, so it feels more homey, I guess, if it's a word. There's actually people living in the wild area, in the region, instead of just half of the map.
Yeah.
A wild area. Yeah.
It also feels maybe because it is open world, whatever, it feels like a pretty big region if you think about it. You could maybe say that it's comparable to other sides of the regions, but because it is the first open world game, that region that used to be so big in other maps now seems even bigger because of the fact that you could explore basically every corner. Alright, so now we are going to talk about the new Pokemon, which is exciting. It's always a big part of these Pokemon games. We were introduced to three Pokemon, which is Fido, which is a fairy type, Titan, I guess is what people are going with, Titan, which is an ice type, and Paldea and Wooper, which is a poison ground type. I will say right away that, like Smoliv, Fido, I'm a part of the Fido protection squad. Anything that happens to that dog, I will murder you for it.
Yeah, I am definitely on that ship for Fido.
Yeah, me as well. I feel like Pokemon has been snapping with designs for this region. They really know how to make the cute Pokemon stand out a lot. And I think Fido is as amazing as Smoliv and the starters. And I think Paldea and Wooper is cute as well. It's very adorable and I cannot wait to use it in the game.
They also did pretty good with names as well. Obviously with the tongue, but with Fido literally being Fido, but then also dough as in pastry dough. It's really kind of genius if you think about it. Paldea and Wooper is also very cute to me, just in the mud and being poisonous, And obviously Titan is very cool, it's a whale. I kind of like it.
I cannot wait to see if Titan has an evolution or a pre-evo.
And
yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, people have been theorizing that it's one of those standalone Pokemon. And I'm not opposed to it, but I would like something maybe smaller, cuter. I don't know.
I'm curious if Titan is going to be a viable Pokemon for competitive, because as you know, ice types are usually very weak. So I cannot wait to see its stats, and if we finally get a buffy, super strong ice type that we can use and won't die easily.
Yeah, it might be helped with the potential new gimmick. that we'll discuss a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was gonna mention that.
Anyways, we thought to mention because we saw like little aspects of the Pokédex, which, by the way, is such a cute idea for it to be like books or
gosh,
mangas
yes.
on a shelf. By the way,
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like you want to complete the deck so you can see all the cute like covers for the manga books or like magazines.
yeah, it's just so cute.
I feel like once it's filled up, it'd be like a nice accomplishment. Plus, it's nice to look at.
It'll be like a big bookshelf. One of the screenshots, I think Lime, our editor, will post a picture of it for easy access to see. But in one of the pages, we see the numbers, and we see that like Fido is like 76 or whatever. But then we see Pomé is like 16. I think we wrote that as 16. And then the next Pokemon up is 19. So maybe Pomé will have 3 evolutions.
Wait, 3 evolutions?
3-stage evolution, 2 evolutions.
Great job.
I'm trying my best. We're trying to be
I know.
organized.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
And I'm so proud of you.
Anyways, there's also like another screenshot, where like it has like the starters and then like Lechonk, because I just captured Lechonk, so it fills up the spine of the book, and we noticed that like one of the rivals, we don't know who, will have the weaker starter because it shows like we have Sprigatito and then Quaxly, but Quaxly is like seen where it's like the book is like grayed out. So we know one of the rivals has a weaker starter. We don't know which one, but maybe the Mona, maybe one of the new ones. And we also see that there's a 11th is showing that there's a evolution for Lechonk. It just doesn't show as a book yet because we don't know it, but it at least shows that, hey, there's an evolution for this Pokemon, which I think is kind of cool as well.
Yeah, it's kind of expected because I think it's the regional like normal type. This generation.
Next topic.
So for our next topic, we'll be talking about the new game mechanic this generation, which is terrestrial. Oh my god, what is it called? Terrestrial?
Terastal or something.
Terrestrial. What is it? This is awful.
Pokemon. Terastal. Just say Terra types.
Pokemon make easier names to say. Challenge failed.
The Terra type. This phenomenon is only found in the Paldea region and makes Pokemon shine and glimmer like gems. When a Pokemon terrestrializes, a Terra jewel appears above the Pokemon's head like a crown, and the Pokemon's body glistens like a cut gemstone. It's said that the terrestrial energy that sees from the ground of the Paldea region is involved in the phenomenon. All Pokemon in Paldea can terrestrialize. Oh my god, that's a hard word. To gain the special power.
And for clarification, a Pokemon's Terra type isn't active until Pokemon terrestrializes, which will then, allow it to become its Terra type. Different Pokemon can have different Terra types, like as shown in the video. Some will have, like an Eevee will have a normal type, and then there's some who have rare types, like, like a flying or water or grass. And there's a Terra type for each of the Pokemon types, which are 18. And so, all different Pokemon can have different types of Terra types.
Honestly, I think it's quite fun, and it can be used in so many ways in battles. Like, it makes the game so much more unpredictable when it comes to competitive, and it can be played out in so many scenarios, and it can be super fun to play with.
Yeah.
I think it's so much more interesting than Z moves for like a one-trick pony kind of a thing, and I think it's like as good as like a Dynamax.
Yeah, I also like the design element to it, like how they become like crystals, and it kind of mirrors how like throughout the region there's like the mosaics, which is a very prominent part of like I think Barcelona, is like Spanish Pokemon fans have pointed out. So like to have that like design element within like the gimmick is kind of, you know, very more culturally, you know, accurate to like the inspiration of the region. And the hats are a little bit goofy, but they probably will grow on me, honestly. I kind of wish that you know, the sparkles were like, at least in the battle scenes, were like all around, where it's like super glittery, you know, background, whatever. But like, maybe it's just me, I like glitter. Also, the idea that the Terra Orbs are like, not like you can just use them all the time, whatever. You have to recharge them either by going to the crystal or going to the Pokemon Center. Makes it kind of more like strategic, where it's like, at least within like the main game, you're like, oh, you know, I should save it for this one battle, or else I'm gonna have to go to the crystals or Pokemon Center. Like, I don't have to want to go back and forth all the time. So at least makes me think about when to use the, you know, my Pokemon's Terra type.
Yeah, I like the design of the, what is it? Like the crown? I think they're called crowns.
It reminds me of like Swarovski crystals.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how they transform the rest of the, what is it? Like the other 13 types. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very camp. It's fun. It's cute.
It's
I've seen a
cute.
lot of people hate on the designs, but I think it's fine.
I feel like it'll probably be a grower. Maybe we'll see like how it looks on other Pokemons. And people were also complaining that the crowns will look funny on like certain Pokemon. So like imagine seeing Tyranitar with a crown. So basically like not the cute type Pokemons, but like the more monstrous ones that are crystallized and shiny, I guess. Oh, I wonder how it would look if they're shiny actually.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing.
I think it would look cool.
That'll be like something to look forward to.
Yeah. For me, it's more so not so much the larger monstrous ones. It's for me like the smaller ones, because the crown literally looks like up to their size. So it just looks like they're balancing a big, giant thing, and they're gonna topple over. At least the bigger Pokemon, it looks like they're not gonna topple over with this big jewel on their head. Like I said, it probably will grow on me. It's just more so it's like, it looks kind of funny that the smaller Pokemon look like they're gonna like topple in the wind because of this big crown they have on.
Also, I want to see if how much is going to be used in the actual storyline. If like other trainers can also like use the Terra types on their Pokemon, or if it's just limited to like a few trainers. I hope not. I feel like every game leader should have like a Terra type Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
It would be a missed opportunity. Like how X and Y not use Megas really at all.
yeah. I hope it's that way, because that's how it's been since Sun and Moon. Like they're pushing at least the gyms and the main cast to use the phenomenon, like the new game mechanics. Yeah.
Also, it'd be cool for like a gym leader to be like, oh my gosh, I'm losing. Then use their like Terra type and make their Pokemon super strong against yours. It would be like it would be like a big surprise for you, the player, and it would be fun to strategize around that because you have no idea what their Pokemon's Terra type is gonna be.
Like for example, if you were like, oh, I'll use like a primarily fire type against Russia, the new ice gym leader, and then like last minute he terrestrializes into like a rock type, and you're like screwed because you only use fire types, I guess.
Yeah. As well, when like if this like a supposed rival chooses the starter that is like weaker against yours, they could use the Terastalize mechanic and make their starter stronger against yours.
Yeah.
One final thing, we haven't really talked much about the Terra raid battles. I think they'll be more interesting than the Sword and Shield raid battles, because the Sword and Shield battles were like, raid battles were kind of fun at first, but then they got kind of old because then they took forever and were kind of slow. But considering the fact that now that they've confirmed that you can move like independent of like everything else, and do whatever, I think it'll make it more faster and probably more fun to go on raid battles with your friends because you won't have to wait all the time.
Yeah, I agree. It'll probably be easier for people who just play solo too. So it's just you who's controlling your own mon instead of just relying on the AI to make their moves too.
Yeah, you can just keep attacking while the AI are doing like stupid decisions, like I don't know, like setting up for no reason.
That Soul Rock that just use like cosmic power. Yeah. So for our next topic, we'll be talking about the main story, aka the treasure hunt. So in Scarlet and Violet, we'll be attending the new academies. Naranja for Scarlet and Uva Academy for Violet. Here you can meet new people, new Pokemon, and a new you. In the center of Paldea sits the largest city in the region, Mesagoza. It is here that you'll find a school boasting a history that few others do. Age is not an issue in enrollment here, so a wide range of age groups from children's to adults take the same classes, which mostly relate to Pokemon. It seems that there are a few classes that you can take with Pokemon too.
And furthermore, there are 2 grand stories beside your pursuit of becoming a champion, and many trials and tribulations await you in those stories as well. Please look forward to finding out what kind of stories they are. As well, you can freely go back and forth between all 3 stories, allowing your adventure to develop in the way you want it to.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it's kind of obvious for like Spanish-speaking people as well. Naranja and Uva is literally just orange and grape in Spanish.
Yeah, that's
so literally Orange and Grape Academy.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It makes sense because I think those are also their school emblems.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like I wanted to have this as main section and figure out what are the 3 stories that they're detailing. Obviously, we know one of them is the champion. I think it's probably maybe obvious what the other 2 stories are because they kind of like foreshadowed them with like scenes and pictures. To me, I think my guess is along with everyone else that one's the champion, one's about the treasure hunt, and that maybe involves the Terastal phenomenon, where like you go with Arvin or whatever, and then the story that we usually associate with a Pokemon game, which is like about the villain and like defeating them and whatever. But my what I wonder is if treasure hunt is specifically the 3 stories altogether, or whether it's about one specific story in general, and that's like the Terastal phenomenon or like the academy kind of story.
I don't think so. I think it refers to like all 3 stories combined.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
And I think the 3rd story is just like the new game mechanic and like maybe the legendaries, how they are like connected to the game.
I think more so the legendaries might be with the evil team. Maybe the evil team wants to like find them or whatever because they're a biker gang or like I don't know, like a car.
I mean, I don't know what a biker gang would want to do with like Miraidon and Crydon, but I guess it kind of works because those are like right Pokemon. Maybe they want to ride them or something. That would be so stupid.
They just want like free transportation, I think.
Obviously,
yeah.
Like, cars are expensive. Anyways, the reason we think it's probably a biker gang evil team is due to this tweet from PLDH.net, who pointed out that like the car and like everything seems to be about biker gang, which I think makes sense to with like Miraidon and Crydon being like ride Pokemon and looking like bikes or whatever. It makes sense that the evil team would be related and probably be like a biker gang or like a car gang kind of thing.
Is anybody else why the car we have seen in the trailer is like driving by itself? Like there's nobody inside that car.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's because there's like a glitch or whatever, or they're just early development, or something else.
Oh, I know something from the bike, like the bike picture. It has gems like on top of like the head. I think it looks like it matches with the Pokemon types.
That'd be kind of cool.
Also, can we talk about how the flags for like this villainous team uses like flames? Like, who is this like
lightning
the
bolts,
flare
too.
wannabe?
The symbol has like a lightning bar, like in the negative space, it has a lightning bolt.
Yes. Lysandra needs to come back and like sue these people.
I also kind of wonder if like maybe the one of the storylines about like like the treasure hunt / Terastal thing, if like that'll be also involve the academy and like we go to school and actually take classes.
Like, anyways, we can move on to the next topic, which is what, Pomé?
It is the new characters, including the ones that we see that we don't have a name for. So how we're gonna do this to make it a little bit easier for everyone and everything is I'm going to do one character at a time and read the description, and we'll talk a little bit about them, and then go on from there. I'm going to start with the gym leader, who is Grusha. Grusha used to be a professional snowboarder, but he is now the gym leader of the Glissado Gym full-time. He's an ice-type specialist who has Titan as his partner. He is usually cool-headed, but when battles get heated, he starts showing the emotions he usually keeps pushed down. I'm surprised we just got one gym leader, honestly.
Yes, I expected to see more gym leaders, but like, I guess not. Also, can we talk about the reaction people had to Grusha? Like, they saw that this character had like a feminine design, but we found out that he's actually a guy.
They were just shocked by the ambiguity, I guess.
Let Pokemon characters have androgynous gender expression. Thank you.
Anyways, yeah, I like Grusha. His design is cute. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if his backstory is going to be like more relevant in the story. Like, it's just gonna be like a one-time thing we find out, like a random info drop, or if he's going to talk about it and like, I don't know, I guess show us how he can like snowboard and stuff.
Yeah, I really like when like games like, for example, like Black and White or whatever tend to give more personality to its gym leaders. Like Clay being like kind of more like a greedy and like having his city be his pride or whatever, and then also like Lisa being a model and having insecurities and that stuff like that. So I would love if like Pokemon went back to that kind of tradition and made the gym leaders have a bit more personality rather than, hey, let's battle. Okay, bye. Mango, any thoughts about Grusha?
I like his design. We could just move on.
Alright, then we can move on to the Academy characters that we got introduced to. We'll start with Clavel. He acts as the director of the Academy, and since you're a new student, he will teach you many things about your school. He can be strict, but he can also be kind. He seems to be a friend of Professor Sada and Professor Turo.
I think he's ugly.
That's...
Yeah, that's my thought on him. He's so ugly. He should not be in the game. I hope he goes like somewhere like very dark and sinister, like maybe the distortion world, and just stays there so he can like not bother us.
You're so dramatic.
I feel like he might be, the stereotypical like, controlling teacher, but from the trailer he seems like he's more like outgoing and wants the students to do well.
I think there's like, from what I could see online from like different theories or whatever, that people think he's like the villain because old person, I guess. I feel like that'd be a bit too like stereotypical and cliche story wise, because we always get like, oh, guess what, this like authority figure is a villain, who could have known? I'd rather have the villain or like of the evil team or whatever be like a bit more unique and like a different character entirely, but I guess it's also a possibility because Pokemon also do cliche stories all the time. So
he might just start out like as a strict one, but he'll be like, oh, he's the only one you can trust in the game. Like, what's that girl's name in Legend of Arceus again?
Eileen.
Yeah, so he might start out as someone who's not trustworthy, and like the game paints him that way, but eventually he'll grow into that role of parental figure, I guess, is the closest thing.
Yeah,
That'll help
something like that.
you throughout, yeah, like he'll help you throughout your journey, and he'll always have, you always look up to him as a guide, basically.
Alright, then we'll move to the next character, which is Jock. Mr. Jock is your homeroom teacher, and he teaches biology. He is very knowledgeable about Pokemon biology and is the developer of the Pokédex app for the Rotom Phone. He has a slightly airheaded side to him, and he sometimes loses himself in his research. Purple
I
King.
I like him actually. Like the purple is so
And
obnoxious, but I like him, and I feel like he'll be like that fun teacher. You'll just enjoy going to like the classes, I think.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have the same thoughts. Yeah, he reminds me of like Professor Kui, like a little bit, but him seems like way more fun, and I think he will be probably the closest teacher to the main character.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's probably why they introduced him first over the other teachers.
that's yeah, because he'll probably be the one you'll be spending the most time with, because it is an academy, so you'll be like attending school.
Yeah, as I said, he's the homeroom teacher. So we have Arvin. Arvin is an upperclassman at the academy. He's good at cooking and is researching healthy recipes that can help Pokemon feel better. He will be asking you to help him out since he isn't good at Pokemon battles. To start off, I think he's a very good counterpart to Nemona. Like, they're both upperclassmen, but Nemona is super about battling, while he's really bad at them and really just wants to focus on, like, cooking or whatever. And I like that kind of balance within the rivals.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm thinking he might like layer down the game, like he might quit Pokemon battles and just be like a chef or like a doctor if it's like it's looking like that for me. Lime, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think Arvin is interesting for sure. I feel like it's a little bit shady that we don't know like much about him. Like it feels a little bit suspicious that it's like, oh my gosh, he's just like good at cooking and like just that. I'm curious if he's going to play like a bigger part in the story than what we know so far.
For me, it seems like he might be your partner for, like, maybe the treasure hunt, considering the fact that, like, you're with him and you see a sparkly object. So, like, maybe he might be, like you know, how, like, you get assigned partners in school? He might be your
Yeah.
assigned partner for the treasure hunt, maybe.
Yeah, when I saw this guy, at first I got like Volo vibes. Like, no, I don't think he's like evil or something, but I feel like he's hiding something and I cannot wait to find out what.
Agreed.
Well, then we'll move on to Penny, who I feel is more mysterious than Arvin, by the way, but Penny is in the same grade as you. She has a bit of a shy personality, and for some reason she doesn't seem to come to the academy very often. She is especially fond of her fluffy Eevee bag, and she always has it on her back.
I actually really like Penny. I think her design stands out a lot. And yeah, I have some theories about her and I will express them later in the video.
Yeah. I like her fluffy Eevee bag as someone who is a fan of the Eevee and evolutions. You know, she's a kindred spirit in my heart. I also like that her official art has her not in a uniform, but in her, like, you know, casual clothing, which also fits with her, you know, not going to the academy very often. And I'm curious why she doesn't want to go to the academy, and maybe it might tie to, you know, the third story. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I like her design. I feel like she definitely has more personality than Arvin and Nemona because she's not the one who's wearing the uniform. And like her hair, like her design, her hair, her clothes just stand out compared to everyone else that's been revealed so far. Her stockings are like pluses and minuses. I wonder why.
Before we move on, I want to cover the ones, there's like characters that were highlighted in the trailer but weren't given a focus on, like we don't know their name or like whatever. Like in one of the screenshots we see, like 3 other professors along with Jock that, you know, maybe they're other teachers as well. We have like a dark-haired girl, we have this guy with a mustache, we have a black woman with white hair, and then a guy with long blonde hair. So I
Yeah.
wonder why they were kept more secret as teachers and they didn't just reveal the teachers outright. Especially as we
I
see them
person
in the trailer.
I personally think they are definitely going to be like very important in the story, maybe like later in the story, which is why they are not revealed yet, like their full names.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right to me. Maybe they might be like, important trainers or something, or maybe
Yeah,
champions. The site did say that there was a group of people that are champions. Maybe they are champions.
yeah, maybe they are. I feel like it's like a fair guess. I can see them being like the Elite Four, but there's like 5 teachers, so I don't think that works. Maybe one of them is the champion and the other 4 are just the Elite Four, or maybe they are all like part of the new Elite Four. Like it doesn't have to be just 4 people. Like in Sword and Shield, we went through like the tourney, and there were like no Elite Four, and then we fought Leon, the champion. So maybe they will switch up things in this game as well.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't be opposed to the idea that they're the Elite Four and champion, because oh, you're gonna be fighting the people that taught you throughout the whole game. Being them would be like the accomplishment, and it'd be like your graduation per se,
Yeah.
that you beat the champion, the Elite Four, who were also the ones who taught you everything.
Do you have any more final thoughts about all the characters?
Yeah, I need to know the name of the guy with
Oh my
the
god.
mustache, and he's like very muscular, and like I don't know, he just intrigues me. So yeah,
Me with the dark-haired girl with her hair up in the leather jacket.
I'm sensing a
Hey.
theme.
I noticed that they both have like black hair, so I wonder if they're like siblings, maybe,
Maybe.
or
Maybe.
maybe they're dating, and they're here to crush our dreams.
Alright, if we're good, we can move on to, our theories and like what we expect from the story, things that we didn't cover in the previous sections. Lime,
Yes.
how about you start?
Personally, I'm very interested in Penny, like I said previously. This may or may not be a controversial opinion, but while I did find her design cute, I was not fond of Marnie at all from Sword and Shield. Before I played those games, I had all sorts of expectations for her character, only for her to keep letting me down every single time she appeared on the screen. The writing for her character was also very weak, and I'm sure if it wasn't for the gut fashion and the mad glimpses of personality she showcased whenever she took care of Morpeko, that less people would have liked her, especially in comparison to Beat and Hop, who in my opinion went through more interesting character arcs in the story. And yeah, I think Marnie sucks, and yeah, I wish she was better, but anyway, now that I have that short rant out of the way, I would like to mention that Penny is the rival in this game that has the most potential to be one of the more interesting rivals in the series. Of course, that was mostly from her design that stand out a lot in comparison to Nimona and Arven. The first thing I noticed about her design is the bag she's holding, and it resembles an Eevee. I cannot help but wonder if the Eevee is supposed to be like a metaphor for the arc she's going to go through in this game. In the series, Eevee has previously been used as the imagery for trainers that struggle with their own identity and did not know what path to choose. That can be explained by Eevee having like 8 different evolutions he can evolve in, or precisely 8 paths he can take. Will this mean that Penny struggles with what kind of trainer she wants to become, which is perhaps one of the reasons she's skipping classes as often she does, because she's like struggles between the academic life and something else we don't know about? Or am I just like looking too deeply into those things and she's just like a regular Eevee fan? That would be really funny.
I think your thoughts are very interesting, and they could be nothing. They could just be cute design things, but like it definitely could be a possibility that like Eevee, she is she can go any way direction, and it's really up to like the story for her to grow. And there has to be a reason why she skips class, and I feel it might be explored within one of the stories for sure.
Yeah, also I think it's important that like she doesn't wear the academy outfit. like she's just wearing her own stuff and maybe like connects to her like identity. She wants to be like herself, you know.
Mango, do you have any thoughts about Penny?
I think that Eevee probably symbolizes like her potential to grow into something more. Maybe she will have a Eevee, maybe she won't. Out of the rivals, she's probably gonna be like the main one, I guess. Maybe like story-wise, or like she breaks out her shell and she becomes like the main rival. Because in comparison to Arven, who's like, I feel like he's more passive with the Pokemon battles, and then Nemona, who's more active with the Pokemon battles, I feel like Penny will be the one who surpasses probably both of them and be the true rival in the end. Like the potential is there for her to be like, since you'll be like the main character, you'll be the strongest trainer, obviously, but she's the same age as you, so I feel like she'll probably be the same level at the end of the game.
As we mentioned earlier that we know that one of the rivals has a starter weak to you. I think out of the three, I think the one who fits it is probably like Penny, because usually the ones who are like the similar age as us or whatever usually has, you know, the starter Pokemon. I mean, it could also be Nemona because she's in that house with us in that earlier trailer. But Penny could also like, you know, be there as well. And I think it would also make sense too because she would choose a starter weaker to us and, you know, be like, you know, like seen as like, you know, shy and like, you know, more weaker, I guess so to say. But then like when it's like in the final form, all the starters, you know, like if it's like the Terra type, whatever, she'll have like a Terra type strong against us to show that she, you know, has grown and now found her like Terra type and like found herself, and so she's now a more formidable opponent in the end. Anyways, if we're done talking about Penny, I can move on to what I expect from this game, or like a thing I wanted to like focus on that we didn't talk about in the other sections, which is the legendary forms, like, you know, like the, you know, how it transforms and everything, but also just the legendary in general and how it will play out. I feel like it's definitely important to one of the stories. We don't know which one yet, but we definitely seem like we get it earlier, which I think is a good thing because then we bond with the legendary, but also we get to use it in, like, you know, because it's a big region. And what I can guess, because it looks like we, you know, like on a beach, we meet it on a beach, and it seems like the two scenes are related. At first, when I watched the trailer, I thought it was like the scene where like it expands out into its legendary form is like later in the game, but I think it's actually probably the same scenes where like we, like, you know, are in trouble, or we see someone in trouble, whatever, or maybe Nemona or whatever, and then the legendary appears out of nowhere. It has the legendary form. We're shocked, like we see it appear, and then like it, you know, does that, and then the professor or someone is like, hey, this is something, and it reverts back to its like cuter form, and then like runs off or whatever, or we bond with it, and then we're like, oh, it wants to be your ride Pokemon, but because it used up its energy or it was trying to hide or whatever, it needs to stay in this form for a while until, like, you know, we can use it later or whatever. I wonder if that's what they're going to do in the direction of the legendary Pokemon, to make so like we can get it early so we can use it as a ride Pokemon, but we can't use it as a legendary, because if we get it early as a legendary, like, it's gonna be overpowered. We're gonna sweep the gyms and sweep the game. So they have to probably find a way to have like us use it, but also not as a Pokemon in a way. Also, my poor boy Koraidon alone, like, the wheels are decorative. Like, that's the simple explanation there. Let him walk on his legs.
They're just
I
they're just there for decorum. They're just for like decoration.
And also, they float. They have like air. It's like they said it has air. You know, it can for the water. That's it. It's not actual wheels, guys. Leave it alone.
Okay, like I feel like at that point, why are you even using your legs if you can fly in the game, right? Just use your like wings and just hover instead of just running on all fours.
It's supposed to be. He wants to use his legs, okay? Like, Koraidon doesn't need to adhere to whatever you want.
I guess it makes sense, like, theme-wise, because it's like futuristic versus past. Like, ooh, it's like, was it Miraidon has wheels, but it's like electronically generated, and then Koraidon has wheels, but it's just manually walking.
And it makes it look more lizard-like. No.
It's lore. It's lore. It's lore. Yeah, what is it? It's so weird to see it. What is it? So I guess it's so weird to see the legendary be used early, or like have a main focus early.
Yeah, I think it's like definitely interesting that you cannot capture them early in the game, and I feel like they just cannot be. They're just not able to like battle, so they like are stuck in this like riding form.
Or maybe like a certain part of the story where they're like, oh, I need to transfer my legendary form because things are not looking good right now.
Or maybe they just need to reach like their full potential to be like normal Pokemon, which will happen in the end game when they have enough experience with you, the player character.
I guess.
Because for other games, we like encounter it at the end, and it's like, oh, it's like a boss kind of thing, and we don't like, and like usually in the stories they're like, oh, they just know that you're a good person, like they just know me for 2 minutes, like how do they know this? Like, do they sense in my heart? I like this kind of change where like the legendary knows of you. It's kind of reminiscent to how like in Sun and Moon, Tapu Koko like rescues you, and then you like have a closer connection to Tapu Koko, and so you can see why Tapu Koko likes you, because it knows you and like has seen you around or whatever. And I think they're trying to have that same aspect for Miraidon and Koraidon, where it's like they don't need to like see you at the very end where it's like, oh, I know you're a good person. They've hung out with you and like basically become your like steed or whatever, and know that like, oh, you're a good person that does all these kind of things, so then they are more endeared to you, and you're more endeared to them, because I felt more endeared to Tapu Koko as a legendary than I did for the other legendaries, and I felt more endeared to Nebby, especially because of Lily, than I did of once again the other legendaries like Necrozma, which is why I don't like Ultra Sun and Moon, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah. They're definitely trying to build up like a connection early at the start. So I feel like at some point you'll probably lose the mobility, like you'll get captured or like it dies, quote unquote. But so like you feel like, so its death means more, it has more meaning to you, but right now it's just like it's a bike that can move through land, air, and sea. So which is crazy to me, because like that implication, it implies that all the bikes are designed to be like that. So
that's my wonder. It's like, we're gonna be riding around this town with like Miraidon and Koraidon. Aren't people gonna be like, that's a unique bike, And I wonder if like the bikes, all like the regions, like also like vehicles, whatever, look similar to Koraidon and Miraidon. That way, it's like, oh, it's just a so it doesn't like people don't look at it weird to be like, why you have like a random, what is this bike? This is a new design, like
I want to see how was it like the 3 stories all combine into one, because I feel like, I mean, you'll throughout the game you'll probably get like a dash of like, oh, like the terrestrial phenomenon, and then like the treasure hunt, and then the main game or something. So I want to see how all 3 would probably be combined and reach a climax where all of it are like important, I guess.
It might be hard because they've kind of like advertised as like, oh, it's separate stories, so you can take at your own pace. Like you could do one story all the way through, or you can mix around the stories. So I wonder if it will lead to a climax where all 3 of them are together, or if there'll be separate stories and like you just do one and then you could do the other and then the other. I wonder how they will tie into it. I mean, it would be interesting if like they were separate stories, but they do climax at one point at an end.
Yeah. I don't think they have to combine necessarily at the end. Maybe they can like combine like earlier. Like you have to do something in a certain story to like progress in the other.
Like the game is open world, so maybe
I mean, they
you can
say that it's open world, but like, it's
okay,
Pokemon.
but okay then it's an open world, but I'm saying that maybe you can focus on just the one story and like finish that all the way through, and you're like, oh, it's done. I can finish like the other two, I guess. I don't know. I like Pokemon isn't like the type of game to have was it different routes for like a
Storytelling,
specific
yeah.
like for a specific storytelling. It's like it's more I'll just dash in like bits and pieces until like the climax happens, and then like, oh, that's why like Terra types exist, or like that's
Yeah,
the treasure hunt. It's just that.
yeah, I feel like this will happen again in these games, but like maybe it's just like considered like the three different stories are like considered to be like equally important, and you do like a lot of stuff in each story,
Yeah,
which
and
they're like promoting as like three different stories. It's like a huge deal, but I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, because like they're promoting as three different stories. They're not like it's not separate. So I don't know.
and also like 'cause it's very new for Pokemon. Like they normally do like it's like Mango said, where it's like one story, but there's like bits and pieces of the different things, and it's more linear. This game has to, because it's open world and they've advertised it like you could do whatever you want. The free stories have to, kind of have elements tied together, but they also have to have the balancing act of being you can do them in any order you want and not be forced to do one thing or the other. And like how, like for example, back to the map, they had a balance between, like the starting area being a bit more non-open world, so that way it's like a more of an introduction to the player, and then you get expanded out once you reach the main city or whatever. They had to figure out balance of being like, okay, we need to make this like intro where it's a bit more subdued and less open areas. That way we can, have all the tutorials and like the player can get used to the game. Well, and not make it as long that people think it's a bit more linear, and they're not allowed to do the open world stuff.
I'm also curious if there are like side stories in the game, like side quests. That would be like fun to do. Maybe you can like explore like different characters in like side stories, and you can like those can be like optional to complete, so they don't distract you from like the three main storylines.
Final section, which is our, conclusion, our final thoughts, and any updates on our teams now that we have a bit more Pokemon. Mango, how about you go first? What do you have any updates on your team or anything?
Hold on, let me check my notes.
Here we go again.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Okay,
Deja
so
vu.
let's see. After the trailer, we got the reveal of Wooper, which is Paldean Wooper, which is poison and ground. So I'm hoping I want to use it. Maybe its evolution is cool, but I already have Venonat, and I don't want to have two poison types. So I don't know. I also have Fanfi as like a backup, I guess. I have like there's no other interesting mons in the game. So far my team is Fuecoco, Smoliv, Venonat, and Paldean Wooper.
As for me, I would like to use Girafarig. I saw it exists in like Paldea,
Oh,
and there are like totally no interesting reasons as to why is that. As for new Pokemon, I really like Fidough and Paldean Wooper. Like Mango said, both of them are adorable, and I could see them being on my team. But to be honest, I'm not like certain on using them like I was with Quaxly and Smoliv.
As for me, I think before I talk about my team, I will say that we didn't really talk much about like any translations from Japanese text because they really didn't have any, because they said the voiceover text was not in game, so it's not really official. So there was no point of translating the Japanese text. So maybe next trailer I will have a Japanese section in the discussion and we'll have some text to go over, but today's not that day. Okay, so now to my team, but I will consider Paldean Wooper in my teams if it evolves. I like to use the Pokemon that evolve because it kind of fits within my like stories when I go travel into a new game where it's like, oh, I'm growing and so are my Pokemon. I'm kind of particular about that. There are a bit of exceptions like Mimikyu, but I tend to use ones that evolve personally for my first playthroughs. I would love to use Fido if it evolves. I have it with my Sprigatito team, along with Smoliv. And also I would like to use the Titan if it has a pre-evo, which we're kind of hoping as well. So we have Sprigatito, Fido, and Titan, and then for the other games like Kyoko and Smoliv. And then I'll consider the other ones if they have evolutions that I like and their designs.
Play. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the games?
I'm back to being excited about these games, even with the slow drip of news, and I hope we don't have to wait as long for another trailer. And I can't wait to like dig into the map and see where like the gyms are, what the potential gyms could be, and figure out what all these characters that they did not tell names of and who they are, because, you know, especially that black-haired lady. Thank you, Pokemon. Please give me her name.
Yeah, I think with the more we find out about these games, the more excited I am. These games definitely feel very refreshing for the series, and yeah, I cannot wait to experience them.
I hope the next trailer talks more about the two other stories, I guess. I'm hoping middle evolutions for starters. And I want to see like if there is a regional bird, maybe next trailer too.
Yeah, it's so odd that we don't know like the regional bug or the regional bird either. Like those are ones that usually get revealed very early. Like, you know, for like Sword and Shield, we knew those like pretty early on. So I wonder if there's like a reason for why they're, you know, I mean, there is no reason.
That's it for our second video discussing the latest news on Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as your future teams or any interesting theories you thought of yourself. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more media coverage, especially of Pokemon, and follow our Twitter for video updates and our fun little tweets. We would really appreciate it if you do so, because we, as we said previously, we want any engagement. Please, I'm begging you on my knees.
This has been Cherry on Top.
And as always, we hope you enjoy your Sunday. Bye!